Experts predicted that 2025 would be a year of major expansion for BRICS, with several fast-growing economies joining the economic alliance. Well, it's only the first month of 2025, and Russia has already reported that about 23 countries are lining up to become full BRICS members. This is a significant shift, and among these new members is Nigeria, marking a key moment for the bloc. Nigeria's inclusion, alongside Indonesia, signals a new era of global influence for BRICS. But how did this happen? What benefits will Nigeria gain? And what does this mean for BRICS's global ambitions? In this video, we'll explore how BRICS is set to challenge the dominance of the US dollar and give major shocks to the West in 2025. On January 1, 2025, BRICS began an unprecedented chapter in its history. The bloc, which already represents 55% of the world's population and approximately 37% of global GDP, officially launched its expansion. Brazil, assuming the presidency of BRICS this year, kicked off the new phase by admitting Indonesia as the first new member of the year. But Indonesia wasn't the only major addition. Nigeria, Africa's largest economy and one of the world's fastest growing, also officially joined BRICS, signaling the bloc's increasing influence across multiple regions. Nigeria's inclusion is particularly significant as the most populous country in Africa, with a GDP over 500 billion and rich natural resources, including oil, gas, and minerals. Nigeria's membership adds tremendous economic weight to BRICS. This also strengthens the alliance's position in Africa, a region that has often been overlooked in global economic discussions. With Nigeria joining, BRICS now has an even broader platform to drive global economic policies and challenge the dominance of Western institutions. Indonesia's and Nigeria's additions highlight BRICS's expanding reach into Southeast Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, areas that have historically been under Western influence. By including these nations, BRICS is signaling its commitment to creating a more inclusive, multipolar world order. But why is Indonesia's decision to join so significant? The country sits at the crossroads of vital global trade routes and plays a key role in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN. Its entry into BRICS strengthens the bloc's regional cooperation and enhances its global aspirations. It also marks a shift in Indonesia's foreign policy, emphasizing stronger ties with emerging economies and a desire to reduce reliance on Western-led institutions. Economically, Indonesia's addition is a game-changer. With a GDP of over $1 trillion and a population of nearly 280 million, Indonesia significantly boosts BRICS's economic clout. Its rich natural resources, from energy to minerals and agriculture, make it an essential player in global supply chains. BRICS's trade network and mechanisms will allow Indonesia to tap into a wider market, positioning the country for even more rapid economic growth. But it's not just Indonesia. A total of 23 countries are vying to join BRICS in 2025, potentially reshaping the global economic landscape even further. With BRICS's growing influence, we can expect a stronger push toward de-dollarization and a more multipolar world order. BRICS is poised to give the West some serious competition as it expands its reach and redefines global trade. Things are changing on a global scale, and Indonesia's involvement in BRICS is just the beginning. The BRICS group has captured the attention of numerous nations far beyond Indonesia's borders. As of 2025, 23 more countries have expressed interest in joining the bloc, signaling a growing wave of support. These countries include Algeria, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Burkina Faso, Cambodia, Chad, Colombia, the Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Honduras, Kuwait, Morocco, Myanmar, Nicaragua, Pakistan, Palestine, Senegal, South Sudan, Sri Lanka, Syria, Venezuela, and Zimbabwe. This surge of interest is a strong indication that BRICS is becoming a more prominent force on the world stage. The bloc's increasing influence represents a challenge to the dominance of Western-led institutions like the IMF, World Bank, and G7. For many of these nations, BRICS offers something appealing: the promise of equitable partnerships, a fairer economic playing field, and a move away from over-reliance on the US dollar. One of the most appealing aspects of BRICS for these countries is its push for de-dollarization, essentially shifting global trade and financial systems away from the US dollar and toward local currencies. This is an attractive proposition for nations that have long been at the mercy of dollar-based economic systems, where the value of their currencies can be affected by shifts in the dollar's strength. Take countries like Venezuela and Nigeria, for example, with vast oil reserves. These nations are looking for ways to retain more control over their natural resources. They see BRICS as a platform that could help them assert this control, free from the constraints of U.S. sanctions or economic pressures. By embracing the use of local currencies in trade, BRICS nations would be less vulnerable to sanctions that are often tied to the U.S. dollar's dominance. But it's not just about economic independence. It's also about political sovereignty. For decades, many nations have been trapped in a cycle of debt, economic instability, and political interference driven by the influence of Western financial institutions. BRICS, by contrast, offers a vision of mutual respect and cooperation. It prioritizes the sovereignty of its members and seeks to establish a more inclusive international order that benefits everyone, not just a select few. One of the key drivers behind BRICS's rising influence is its focus on reducing dependency on the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar has long been the standard for global trade and finance, providing the United States with unmatched leverage over international economic systems. By using the dollar as a global reserve currency, the U.S. has been able to impose sanctions on countries at will, freezing assets and restricting access to global markets. At the same time, the U.S. could print more dollars without worrying about inflation, because the world absorbed the currency, maintaining the dollar's value. Now, BRICS is actively working to challenge this status quo by encouraging the use of local currencies for trade and financial transactions. BRICS aims to diminish the U.S. dollar's hold over global markets. This initiative is not only about reducing the influence of the U.S., but also about stabilizing economies that have been vulnerable to the volatility of the dollar. A good example of this new approach is Indonesia's inclusion in BRICS. As one of the leading exporters of energy and natural resources, Indonesia holds a strategic position in the bloc. Its participation in BRICS could make it a key player in promoting trade using non-dollar currencies. With its rich natural resources in Indonesia could facilitate energy transactions with fellow BRICS members, such as Russia, using local currencies. This creates a win-win situation. Russia can boost its revenues, while Indonesia can secure energy at discounted rates, all while strengthening its own currency. In fact, bilateral trade between Indonesia and other countries like China could be conducted using their respective currencies, rupiah and yuan, bypassing the U.S. dollar altogether. This shift would not only reduce exposure to currency volatility, but also protect BRICS nations from the impact of U.S. sanctions. The more countries adopt this model, the less reliant they become on the U.S. dollar, which is a significant step toward reshaping global financial systems. But with all this interest, one important question remains. Will BRICS accept all countries that apply for membership? As it stands, BRICS has the authority to select new members based on strategic alignment with the group's values and goals. This careful approach ensures that only countries whose interests are in harmony with BRICS's vision for a fairer, more cooperative global order are granted membership. This means that not all countries will automatically be accepted. BRICS will prioritize nations that share its goals of reducing dependence on Western-dominated institutions, promoting mutual respect, and focusing on economic sovereignty. By choosing members that align with its core principles, BRICS can strengthen its cohesion and continue to build a solid foundation for the future. As BRICS expands and its influence grows, it could eventually become a cornerstone of the global economy, reshaping power dynamics in international finance and trade. The world is clearly ready for change, and BRICS could be the catalyst that transforms the global economic landscape. If you're intrigued by the shift in global geopolitics, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let's keep the conversation going. What are your thoughts on BRICS's expansion? Do you think this movement towards de-dollarization will reshape global power dynamics? Let us know in the comments. While the interest of 23 countries highlights BRICS's growing appeal, the bloc is carefully navigating its approach to expansion. Russian officials, including Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, have emphasized the importance of gradual, harmonized, and strategic steps in admitting new members. This deliberate approach demonstrates a clear understanding that uncontrolled expansion could dilute the bloc's strategic focus, making it less effective. Instead, BRICS is adopting a selective and methodical strategy, choosing members based on their economic strength, regional influence, and alignment with the bloc's overarching goals. For instance, resource-rich nations such as Venezuela and Nigeria could play a pivotal role in enhancing BRICS's energy security. Venezuela, with one of the world's largest oil reserves, and Nigeria, a leading oil exporter in Africa, bring immense potential for bolstering energy stability within the bloc. On the other hand, strategically located countries like Pakistan and Morocco offer geopolitical advantages, enabling BRICS to expand its influence and establish stronger regional footholds. This selective strategy ensures that each new member contributes tangible value to the alliance, strengthening its ability to achieve long-term objectives. By carefully selecting members who align with its vision, BRICS also maintaining its cohesion, avoiding the risk of becoming an unwieldy coalition with conflicting priorities, is essential, especially as the bloc seeks to position itself as a unified force capable of challenging Western-dominated institutions and reshaping the global order. This goal of unity becomes even more critical as BRICS continues to project itself as a counterbalance to Western economic and political hegemony. Brazil's presidency of BRICS further underscores the bloc's ambitions. As the largest economy in Latin America and a founding member of BRICS, Brazil is uniquely positioned to act as a bridge between BRICS and its regional neighbors. This role goes beyond symbolic significance. It represents a strategic pivot towards deeper economic and geopolitical ties with Latin America. The region, long considered a sphere of U.S. influence, is now exploring new partnerships that promise mutual respect, equitable trade, and reduced dependency on Western-dominated financial systems. Latin America's immense natural resources are central to its importance for BRICS. Countries like Venezuela, Argentina, Chile, and Bolivia possess vital commodities such as oil, lithium, copper, and agricultural products. Venezuela's vast oil reserves, for instance, could integrate seamlessly into BRICS's efforts to de-dollarize trade, enabling transactions outside the U.S. dollar system. Similarly, Chile and Bolivia, with their world-leading lithium reserves, could strengthen BRICS's position in the renewable energy sector, which is becoming increasingly critical in the global push towards sustainability. Argentina, with its abundant agricultural and energy wealth, complements the bloc's vision of reducing reliance on Western supply chains. Beyond economics, the potential expansion of BRICS carries significant geopolitical implications. For decades, Latin America has been regarded as the backyard of the United States, subjected to political and economic interventions that often prioritized U.S. interests. BRICS offers an alternative model of cooperation, one that is based on mutual respect, equitable trade, and non-interference. By joining BRICS, Latin American nations gain access to new markets, investment opportunities, and financing from institutions like the New Development Bank, which operates without the political conditions often attached to Western loans. Strategically, Latin America's geographic position, with access to both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, enhances BRICS's trade routes. Strengthened ties could lead to the development of new trade corridors, linking South America with Africa, Asia, and beyond, bypassing Western-dominated trade routes. This increased connectivity aligns with BRICS's broader vision of creating a multipolar world order, reducing reliance on traditional trade partners and promoting sustainable economic growth. Moreover, BRICS's expansion efforts extend beyond Latin America, with interest from countries in Africa and Asia. The bloc's potential growth highlights its global appeal. Nations like Indonesia, with its large economy and strategic location, and African countries with their abundant resources, further illustrate the diverse opportunities for BRICS's development. However, the challenge lies in ensuring that expansion does not compromise the bloc's unity and strategic coherence. Should BRICS accept all countries expressing interest, or should it remain selective, prioritizing quality over quantity? The answer may determine the future of the bloc. BRICS's ability to function effectively as a cohesive unit while maintaining broad-based membership could enhance its global representation. Careful selection ensures that new members contribute meaningfully to BRICS's shared objectives and vision. What do you think? Should BRICS opt for a more inclusive approach or stick to its selective strategy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And what do you foresee BRICS achieving in 2025? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest content. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay tuned for more insights into the evolving global landscape.